6 p.m. Pakistan Standard Time. Assalamu alaikum. This is Radio Pakistan. The news read by Daman Zaman. The headlines. The Prime Minister addressing the Federal Cabinet meeting in Islamabad has reiterated Pakistan's solidarity with Iran and its people against the Israeli aggression. Shehbaz Sharif has constituted a committee to promote cashless, digitalised economy. The Deputy Prime Minister has vowed to take strict action against hoarders and profiteers. The Azad Jammu Kashmir government has presented budget for the next financial year with a total outlay of over 310.2 billion rupees. The All-Party Syrian Conference has called on the international community to intervene for the United Nations-backed resolution of the Kashmir dispute. 34 more Palestinians were martyred by the Israeli forces in Gaza today. And now the news in detail. The Prime Minister Mohammad Shehbaz Sharif has said the situation in the region in the backdrop of Iran-Israel conflict is alarming. Presiding over the Federal Cabinet meeting in Islamabad today, he termed the Israeli attacks on Iran as a blatant aggression. He reiterated Pakistan's complete solidarity with Iran and its people against the Israeli aggression. The Prime Minister urged the international community to make efforts for brokering immediate ceasefire between Iran and Israel. Shehbaz Sharif said Pakistan strongly condemns the Israeli aggression against Iran, in which hundreds of Iranian people lost their lives and many others sustained injuries. Turning to the prevailing situation in Gaza, he said over 50,000 innocent Palestinians had been martyred so far in the Israeli attacks. He emphasized waking up of the conscience of the international community. He said Deputy Prime Minister and the Foreign Minister Mohammad Ishaq is visiting Turkey from Saturday to attend the meeting of the OIC foreign ministers. The Prime Minister said considering the historic victory of Pakistan in the recent Pak-India tensions and fight against terrorism, the government increased the fiscal space to meet the requirements of the valiant armed forces of Pakistan with regard to necessary equipment. Shehbaz Sharif also appreciated Bilawal Bhutto Zardari and his delegation for effectively presenting Pakistan's viewpoint during their visits to the United States and Europe over the Indian unilateral and illegal aggression. Turning to the internal situation, the Prime Minister said discussion is underway in the Parliament on the federal budget. He said only 1% tax has been imposed in the budget on those earning 600,000 to 1.2 million rupees annually against 5% which was imposed last year. The Prime Minister Mohammad Shehbaz Sharif has constituted a committee to promote cashless digitalised economy. The committee was formed at a meeting in Islamabad today. Speaking on the occasion, the Prime Minister said digitization of the economy is among the foremost priorities of the government's reforms agenda. He directed that digital payments and digital transfer of funds should be encouraged by taking policy measures. The Prime Minister said the government has proposed a number of steps to promote cashless economy in the federal budget. Shehbaz Sharif said the government is also taking steps to promote digital transactions for shopping and money transfer to discourage the informal economy. The Prime Minister highlighted that the inflation rate witnessed a decline and the foreign remittances were increased as a result of the improvement in the country's economy. This is Radio Pakistan giving you the news. The National Assembly and the Senate are continuing discussion on the federal budget for the next financial year. Participating in the discussion, members of the National Assembly and the Senate expressed satisfaction over the improved economic indicators. The Deputy Prime Minister Mohammad Ishaq has announced to reduce the proposed sales tax on imported component of solar panels from 18 to 10%. Speaking in the National Assembly today, he said some budgetary proposals have been reviewed after consultations with the allied parties. Ishaq said sales tax on services would remain the domain of the provincial governments. He said clarification in this regard would come in the winding up speech on the finance bill. The Deputy Prime Minister assured that the universities of Sindh would be provided 4.7 billion rupees. The Deputy Prime Minister and the Foreign Minister, Senator Mohammad Isagdar, has vowed to take strict action against hoarders and profiteers. He was chairing a meeting in Islamabad today to review the supply of essential food commodities, especially sugar. The Deputy Prime Minister directed the authorities concerned to fully implement the government's policy of supply of essential food items to the common man at affordable prices. The federal government is committed to fostering the business environment for growth, innovation and prosperity. This was stated by the coordinator to the Prime Minister on Commerce, Rana Ehsan Afzal, while addressing the National Regulatory Reforms Conference in Islamabad today. He said the government has achieved economic stabilization and now moving ahead towards growth. Rana Ehsan Afzal said all the ministries are playing their due role effectively under homegrown Udan Pakistan program to move towards sustainable growth. The Azad Jammu and Kashmir government has presented budget for the next financial year with a total outlay of over 310.2 billion rupees. Presenting the budget at the AJK Legislative Assembly in Muzaffarabad today, the Minister for Finance Abdul Majid Khan informed the House that 2 billion rupees had been allocated for the introduction of a health card in the state. He said 240 million rupees have been earmarked under the education package for the upgradation of existing schools and the establishment of new educational institutions. The Finance Minister said ample funds have been allocated for food subsidies to provide affordable flour to the public. The All Parties Hurriyat Conference has strongly condemned the Modi-led Indian regime for enforcing a policy aimed at marginalizing Muslim religious practices in the Indian illegally occupied Jammu and Kashmir. In a statement, the APHC spokesman, Advocate Abdur Rashid Minhas, said Muslim religious events like Eid prayers are regularly denied permission or disrupted under the guise of security, while Hindu gatherings like the Amarnath Yatra are fully facilitated and supported. He said this blatant discrimination reveals the Bharatiya Janata Party regime's communal agenda and its attempt to reshape the religious and cultural landscape of the occupied territory. Advocate Abdur Rashid Minhas also condemned the ongoing military crackdowns, house raids, and the threatening rhetoric of the occupation authorities. He called on the international community to intervene and push for a United Nations-backed resolution of the Kashmir dispute. Meanwhile, in a report released by the Kashmir Media Service in connection with the Father's Day, revealed that India's brutal occupation has orphaned 107,983 children and widowed 22,983 women in occupied Jammu and Kashmir since 1989. Thousands of Kashmiri leaders, scholars, rights defenders and others, including Masarrat Alam Bhatt, Muhammad Yasin Malik, Shabir Ahmed Shah, Asian Darabi and Khurram Parvez remain imprisoned across India. ISPR has released a new song on the historic success of Operation Binyanum Marsus. The song powerfully reflects love for the homeland and unwavering confidence in the armed forces. It pays special tribute to the Pakistan Air Force's timely and successful response. 34 more Palestinians were martyred and 100 others injured in the Israeli attacks on Gaza today. According to media reports, these people came under attack when they were gathered to seek food at aid centers. And finally, the weather report. Mainly hot and dry weather is expected in most parts of the country, while very hot conditions are likely in the plain areas during the next 12 hours. And that is the end of this news bulletin. For more news and analyses, log on to our website, radio.gov.pk, and you can also watch the live video streaming of our bulletins on the link, facebook.com/Radio Pakistan News Official.